Astrology. Taurus. From the 20th of April to the 20th of May. Rules: the neck, nape, and ears. Metal: copper. Stone: emerald and agate. Perfume: aromatic herb. Plant: birch. Flower: thorned. Planet: Venus. Color: green. Element: earth. Keyword: love. Day: Friday. Ruler: Uriel. Beloved disciple. In the past lecture I promised I would give thee the clues of these two golden rules. The lion of the law is combated with the scales. When an inferior law is transcended by a superior law, the superior law washes away the inferior law. The solution to these two golden rules is found in a third, which says, "Do good deeds to pay your debts." Very well, now imagine a scale. On one pan lie your good deeds and, on the other, your bad deeds and your corresponding karma. If the karmic pan is inclined against you, then you will be able to fight it by placing more weight on the pan of good deeds, and then thou shalt incline the scale in thy favor, and thus kill karma. A temple of the lords of karma exists in the subtle world, and the jackal is great chief of these judges of destiny. This great being is supreme judge of the cosmic tribunal. He has the appearance of a great man with the head of a jackal. When we have accumulated capital in the cosmic bank, we pay our debts and avoid paying. Those who live daily making new deposits to the cosmic bank will always have something with which to pay their old debts. In this matter of paying debts, one should always keep in mind the law of analogies and of correspondences. The karmic analogies are fought with dharmic analogies. Karma and dharma, these two oriental terms mean punishment and reward. In a more philosophical form, we would say, bad action and bad consequence, and modifying the causes, one modifies the effects, since the effects are nothing else but causes reproduced in another form. Are you going to be made a prisoner? Give freedom to another. Is your son going to die? Heal your fellow man. Are you in misery? Give all that you have left to the hungry and sacrifice all your efforts in favor of others. Beg, in prayer, to the lords of karma and you will be heard. Do not forget, beloved disciple, that justice is the supreme mercy and impiety of the law. So, I have already taught you the two golden rules and I have explained to you how to kill karma. In the following lessons I will be teaching you how to manage the sidereal rays. He who has, receives, and the more he gives, the more he receives. That is the law. But those who do works of evil shall be victims of their own deeds. Why do people suffer? Why do they blaspheme against God if human suffering is not God's fault? We ourselves are the creators of our own destiny. Sanctify thyself, beloved disciple, sanctify thyself. There are three eternal things in life: the law, nirvana, and space. Now, let us begin explaining the exercises of the constellation of Taurus. The cortege of stars that form the constellation of Taurus is the house of Venus, the ineffable star of love, the break of dawn, and consequently, Taurus is of Venusian nature. Taurians are of amorous and Venusian nature due to this. They love much and love and always pass through great deceptions. Taurians are tame and industrious like the bull, that symbolizes that group of stars. But, at times, they are also aggressive. Like the bull, they are tenacious and gluttons, romantic and sensual. They love music, dance, and beauty. They have an ability for all types of manual arts. Taurus rules the larynx and the neck. The larynx is also a sexual uterus where the verb is born. The creative larynx will be the sexual organ of the future divine humanity. The sexual fire of the Kundalini becomes a creator in the word. In our works titled, The Perfect Matrimony, The Revolution of Bel, and Treatise of Occult Medicine and Practical Magic, we already have extensively spoken about the Kundalini, and we taught the great arcanum or supreme secret for the awakening of the asleep princess of the Kundalini. The verb is intimately related with the four elements of nature, and due to this, the initiates of the ancient temples of mystery were prohibited from talking about the old catastrophes of ancient Arcadia in fear that they would bring them back into existence. The ancient hierophants knew too well that the verb is related to the four elements of nature, and that talking about a catastrophe is as much as evoking it again. For this reason, the initiates never spoke publicly about the archaic cataclysms. A hard word follows us and later falls upon him who pronounced it, like a ray of vengeance. One does not only fornicate with the sexual act, there is another kind of fornication with the verb. The improper use of words is also fornication. Fornication with the verb creates astral larvae and misfortunes. It hurts to see how people abuse the verb and fill the world with pain. Slander is the worst of all blasphemies. One should achieve in oneself the perfection of the verb and language. One should comprehend the responsibility of the verb. One should learn to use the sexual organ of the verb. Do you not feel the need to learn how to use the verb? Listen to me, beloved disciple. We, the members of the Sacred College of Initiates, can create anything with thought and materialize it with the verb. Be careful in mentioning names and surnames, because that is slander. If you are a philosopher, fight theories, but never talk about the private lives of its leaders. When one talks about a leader, talk about his doctrine, but never mention his private life. Each one is each one, and no one should care about the private life of others. To talk when one should keep silence is as bad as keeping silence when one should talk. There are times when talking is a crime, and there are times when silence is another crime. There are criminal silences and also infamous words. One should talk when he should and be silent when he should be silent. One should achieve in oneself the perfection of the verb. One should achieve in oneself the wisdom of the verb. People have lost notion of sincerity. Nowadays, human words do not carry the substance of sincerity, and people suffer due to the lack of sincerity. Today, human words are full of falsehood and hypocrisy. Do you know what false words are? Fraudulent words create monsters. Have you ever seen the birth of a monstrous child? That is the karma of the false word pronounced in previous lifetimes. We admire very much the substance of sincerity. A liar could never arrive at our white island. In this course, we have arrived at the constellation of Taurus. This sign governs the neck, and a new struggle between Venus and Mars repeats itself here. Venus governs the thyroid gland and Mars governs the parathyroids. It is an eternal struggle between Venus and Mars. While some glands produce saliva, others dry it. This struggle takes place in all of our organism. Venus is related to love and Mars to war. The astrologer should learn how to use the sparkle of the stars. Do you know of any home where bitterness reigns? Do you want to serve disinterestedly? Do you know of a poor woman abandoned in misery by a suitor? Do you want to help her? Listen to me well, beloved disciple, for I will teach you how to use the sparkle of Venus. Sit in a comfortable chair. Close your eyes. Set aside all earthly thought from your mind and focus your thought on your internal master, praying like this. Prayer. Dear Father, you who art my true being, I beg you with all my heart and with all my soul that you penetrate in the heart temple of the star of Venus, so that you may kneel at the feet of Uriel and ask of him the following favor. One asks for the favor one desires. Then, the disciple mentally salutes the guardian at the right column, will take a deep breath and pronounce the password, Jachin. Next, he will do the same with the guardian at the left column and pronounces the password, Boaz. In other words, first a deep breath, then he will pray to his internal master, telling him, Lord, take the 7 steps into the temple to make the petition. My Father, my Lord, my God. Once the petition has been made, one asks, Uriel, with one's whole heart for a choir of angels to accomplish the work. Singing, they create. If the angel of Venus grants our petition, the choir of angels, who are his sons and live with him in the temple of the nucleus of the star of Venus, will begin to sing in sacred language, to do the work we have asked. That is how the army of the word creates by means of the verb. If any profane observer was to observe the heavens in those instants, he would see the planet Venus shining and glowing in an intensified and rare manner. The observer would simply be amazed on contemplating the original sparkle of Venus in those instants. The indigo-colored hierarchies of the star of Venus gave us the causal body or body of will. They grant what we ask for, when karma allows it. However, if our petition is not granted, then Uriel will show the disciple the clock of destiny, and in this case, we have no other option but to bow down our head before the verdict of the law. In the actual world, there is a great number of schools that try to accomplish these same miracles by mental force, without taking into account at all the approval of the Lords of Destiny. That is simply pure and legitimate black magic. The Christ mind works well with the law. Black mental waves do not arrive where they are sent because a multitude of aerial elementals that trap and intercept their path exist in the subtle world. Innumerable forces, which divert or disintegrate destructive mental waves, also exist in space. Therefore, evil waves can only cause harm when the victim does not know how to love nor forgive. Mental energy is absolutely deficient when it does not work with the energy of the inner self. The miracle worker utilizes mental energy by uniting it with the inner self. That is the wise mind. The miracle worker works only with the divine powers of his inner angel and his Christ mind. The saintly masters of the White Brotherhood cooperate with the magician and his Christ mind. The sidereal genii perform their miracles with the ray of justice when the magician officiates on the altar of the Lion of the Law. Let us now enter the exercises of Taurus. During this month, the following exercise is done. Exercise. The disciple should sit on a comfortable chair. Close your eyes, remove all thought from your mind, make yourself a little drowsy, and then focus your mind inwards, towards the inner self, praying like this. Prayer. My Father, now transport yourself to the principal star of Taurus. Enter through the doors of the heart temple, making the salutes which you already know, and beg the sidereal genie and his angels of that star to condescend and come to me, so that they may prepare me and cure my larynx. Then, already sleepy, the disciple should imagine seeing light accumulated in his head now descending to his throat, while he pronounces the word Om. With the vowel A, he imagines the light descending from his head to his throat. With the vowel O, he will imagine the light flooding his throat, and with the vowel M, the disciple will exhale the breath as if expiring the refuse that resides in his throat. This mantra is pronounced 4 times. I will warn my disciple that the salutes as I have described them when I spoke of Venus, along with the passwords, Jachin, and Boaz, apply to all the stars in the sky. Therefore, the genii of the constellation of Taurus will personally come to awaken the powers of the larynx, and if the disciple has any laryngeal illness, he can ask of these genii of Taurus to be cured and they will cure him. The disciple will also be able to take advantage of these powers to heal others. The disciple should daily vocalize the vowel F for 1 hour. The vibratory sound of this vowel will awaken the power of the occult ear in him. The vowel E causes the thyroid gland, which is the center of the magical ear, to vibrate. The vowel E also develops clairvoyance of the mental body in us. The vowel E makes the mental body vibrate and gives us conceptual synthetism and the power to penetrate the intimate sense of words. Esoteric Treatise of Hermetic Astrology by Samael Veor. Taurus is the zodiacal sign that governs the creative larynx, which is a marvelous uterus where the verb, is gestated. It is appropriate that in this lesson we generally comprehend the words of John when he stated, "There are 7 orders of worlds, 7 cosmos that were created with the power of the word, with music, with sound. The first cosmos is submerged within the uncreated light of the Absolute. The second order of worlds is constituted by all the worlds of the infinite space. The third order of worlds is the sum total of all the suns of our starry space, galaxy. The fourth order of worlds is the sun, which illuminates us with all its laws and dimensions. The fifth order of worlds is made up by any of the planets of the solar system. The sixth order of worlds exists in the earth itself, with its 7 dimensions and regions inhabited by infinite beings. The 7th order of worlds is formed by those 7 concentric spheres or infernal worlds of the submerged mineral kingdom below the Earth's cortex. Music, the word, placed by the logos in 7 musical octaves, sustains the universe firmly in its march. The first order of the worlds is the note Do. The second order of the worlds is the note T, Si. The third order of the worlds is the note La. The fourth order of the worlds is the note Sol. The fifth order of the worlds is the note Fa. The sixth order of the worlds is the note Mi. The 7th order of the worlds is the note Re. Then, everything returns to the Absolute with the note Do. Without music, without the verb, Without the great word, the marvelous existence of the seven cosmos would be impossible. Do re mi fa sol la si la sol fa mi re do. The seven notes of the great scale of the creative word resound in all of creation, because in the beginning was the word. The first order of worlds is wisely governed by the only law, by the great law. The second order of worlds is governed by 3 laws. The third order of worlds is governed by 6 laws. The fourth order of worlds is governed by 12 laws. The fifth order of worlds is governed by 24 laws. The sixth order of worlds is governed by 48 laws. The seventh order of worlds is governed by 96 laws. When one talks about the word, one is also talking about sound, about music, rhythms, the fire, with its 3 measures of the Mahavan and the Shotavan that sustain the universe firmly in its march. Pseudo-occultists and pseudo-esotericists only mention the microcosm and the macrocosm. They merely mention 2 orders of worlds, when in reality there are 7 cosmos, 7 orders of worlds sustained by the verb. By music, by the spermatic and luminous fiat of the first instant. Beyond all doubt, each of the 7 cosmos is a living organism that breathes, feels, and lives. From the esoteric point of view, we can affirm that every progress upwards is the result of a progress downwards. One cannot ascend without descending. First one has to descend, and then ascend. If we want to know a cosmos, we must first know the 2 adjoining ones, the one that is above and the one that is below, because both determine all the circumstances and vital phenomena of the cosmos that we want to study, that we want to know. Example, in this era in which scientists struggle for the conquest of space, tremendous, unfortunately perverse, advances are being made in the field of the infinitely small, in the atomic world. The creation of the 7 cosmos was only possible by means of the verb, by means of the word, by means of music. Our Gnostic students must never forget what the 3 forces called Father, Son, Holy Spirit are. These 3 forces constitute the sacred triamatsakamno. This is the holy affirming, the holy denying, the holy reconciling. The holy God, the holy firm one, the holy immortal. In electricity, these are the 3 poles, positive, negative, and neutral. Without the presence of these 3 poles, all creation is impossible. In Gnostic esoteric science, the 3 independent forces have the following names: Serpotheos, Serpskyros, Serpathenotos. 1. The propelling, affirming, positive force. 2. The denying force, the force of resistance. 3. The reconciling force, the liberating force, the neutralizing force. These 3 forces in the ray of creation resemble 3 wills, 3 consciousnesses, 3 units. Each of these 3 forces contains in itself all the possibilities of the 3. But, at their point of conjunction, each of them manifests only its principle, the positive, negative, or neutral. It is very interesting to see the 3 forces in action. They separate, move away from each other, and then come together again in order to form new trinities which then originate new worlds, new creations. In the absolute, the 3 forces are the one logos, the army of the word within the great unity of life, free in its movement. The creative process of the sacred cosmic common triamatsakamno was initiated with the sexual marriage of the word, because in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. Because of him all things were made, and without him nothing that was made would have been made. In accordance with the sacred law of Heptaparaparshanak, the law of 7 temples were established in the chaos for the construction of this solar system. According to the sacred law of Triamatsakamno, the law of 3, the Elohim were divided into 3 groups within every temple in order to sing in accordance with the liturgy of fire. The work of making Prakriti, the chaos, the cosmic mother, the great womb, fecund is always the labor of the very sacred Theomermalogos. The third force. The 3 groups organize themselves within each temple in the following manner. First a priest, second a priestess, third a neutral group of Elohim. If we take into consideration that the Elohim are androgynous, it is then clear that they had to polarize themselves at will into a masculine, feminine, or neutral form, according to the sacred cosmic common triamatsakamno. The priest and the priestess were before the altar, and on the floor of the temple was the androgynous choir of the Elohim. The rituals of fire were sung, and the sexual marriage of the word fecundated the great womb of the chaos, and the universe was born. The angels create with the power of the word. The larynx is a uterus where the word is gestated. We must awaken consciousness in the word, in the creative larynx, so that one day it may be able to pronounce the spermatic and luminous fiat of the first instant. Consciousness sleeps in our larynx. We are unconscious with the word. We need to become fully conscious of the word. It is stated that silence is golden. We state that there exist criminal silences. It is as bad to speak when one must remain silent as it is to remain silent when one must speak. There are times when to speak is a transgression. There are times when to remain silent is also a transgression. Words are lovely but sterile if the one who utters them does not act according to their uttered words. This is similar to a beautiful flower, full of color, but lacking in fragrance. But similar to a beautiful flower, full of color and fragrance, are the lovely and fertile words of the one who acts according to those uttered words. It is urgent to end the mechanicity of words. It is necessary to speak with precision, in a cognizant and opportune manner. We need to be cognizant of the word. There is responsibility in words, and to play with the word is a sacrilege. Nobody has the right to judge anyone. It is absurd to slander our fellow men. It is stupid to murmur about others' lives. Accusing words fall upon us sooner or later, like a ray of vengeance. Slanderous, infamous words always return to the one who pronounced them, converted into rocks that hurt. In other times, when human beings were not yet so mechanized with this false civilization, cowboys led the cattle to the stable singing in a delightful and natural manner. The bull, the cow, the calf become touched by music. They correspond to the zodiacal sign of Taurus, the constellation of the word, the constellation of music. In the great Puranic allegory, the land that is persecuted by Pritha flees, transforming itself into a cow and taking refuge in Brahma. But this Brahma is the first person of the Hindu Trimurti. Vaka, the cow, is the second, and Vaira, the divine male, the calf, the Kabir, the Logos, is the third person. Brahma is the father, the cow is the divine mother, the chaos, the calf is the Kabir, the Logos. Father, mother, and son, these constitute the Puranic Trimurti. The father is wisdom, the mother is love, and the son is the Logos, the word. The five-legged astral cow that Colonel Alcott believes to have seen physically in front of the hypogeum of Carli, the strange and mysterious cow that a certain young miner saw in the Andes as an exotic guardian of those treasures that the miners of his ranch sought, represents the divine mother, Rhea, Cybele, totally developed in the authentic human being, in the self-realized master. Gautama the Buddha, or Gautama, literally means the conductor of the cow. Every cow herder, every conductor of the cow, can use the Jain fire of the cow to enter into the Jinn lands, palaces, temples, and cities. With the power of the Divine Mother, we can visit Agate, the Jinn cities of the subterranean world. Taurus invites us to reflection. Let us remember that Mercury stole the cows of the sun. Taurus governs the creative larynx. It is urgent for the Kundalini to flourish on our fecund lips made verb. It is only in this manner that we can use the Jain fire in order to enter into the kingdom of the Jinn. In this period of Taurus, we must take light to our creative larynx with the purpose of preparing it for the advent of the fire. The disciple must sit in a comfortable armchair. He must close his physical eyes in order for nothing of this vain and stubborn world to distract him. He must empty the mind, cast out of his mind all kinds of thoughts, desires, worries, etc. He must now imagine that the light accumulated during Aries, in his chalice, in his head, moves with Taurus towards his creative larynx. The devotee must sing the mantra Aum. He must open his mouth properly with the A, imagining that the light descends from the head to the larynx. Then, while vocalizing the U, vividly imagine that the light floods the throat. The mouth must be rounded properly to sing the U. The last letter is the M, closing the lips, expelling or casting out the breath with force, as if eliminating the refuse from the throat. This work is done singing the powerful mantra Aum 4 times. In the thyroid gland, which secretes the biological iodine, the magnetic center of the magical ear is located. With the exercises of Taurus, one develops the magical ear, the power to hear the cosmic symphonies, the music of the spheres, the rhythms of the fire that sustain the seven cosmos according to the law of the octaves. The thyroid gland is located in the neck, in the creative larynx. The thyroid gland is governed by Venus, and the parathyroid is governed by Mars. Taurus is in the house of Venus. The stone of Taurus is the agate. The metal of this sign is copper. In practice, we have been able to evince that Taurine people must not marry Aquarians because they inevitably fail due to the incompatibility of characters. The sign of Taurus is fixed, an earth sign. It tends towards stability. And since the sign of Aquarius is aerial, mobile, revolutionary, it is clear that they are incompatible. Taurine people are like oxen, humble and hard workers, but when they become furious they are terrible like the bull. In their lives, Taurine people undergo great amorous deceptions. They are reserved, conservative. They follow the outlined path step by step, like the ox. Taurine people are very sensitive. Anger in Taurine people builds up slowly and customarily culminates into strong volcanic outbursts. The mediocre type of Taurus is customarily very egotistical, gluttonous, quarrelsome, passionate, irate, and proud. The superior type of Taurus is full of love, delights in classical music, wisdom, works happily for humanity, is very intelligent, comprehensive, faithful, sincere in friendship, a good father, mother, good friend, good brother, good citizen, etc. The mystical greatness of the Mithraic bull was not comprehended by the superficial people of this tenebrous era of the 20th century. It later degenerated into the worship of the golden calf. The sacred cow symbolizes Isis, the divine mother, and her calf or heifer represents Mercury, the messenger of the gods, the Kabir, the Logos. Esoterically included in the sign of Taurus are the Pleiades, the celestial Pleiades or cows. The latter appear to be 7, but in reality they are more than 2,000, with their reflection nebulae, Alcyone, their principal star, and its companions Atlas, Taygete, etc. Around the red eye of the bull or Aldebaran, the only one, together with Antares, heart of Scorpio, that can compete in coloring with Mars is the telescopic Hyades, another celestial cow cluster grouped together in an extraordinary and marvelous manner. Behind the bull comes the gigantic Orion. Above and towards the north of the constellation of the bull, there is this celestial group, symbolic of King Cepheo, Zephyr or Zephyrus, of Queen Cassiopeia, that of the liberator Perseus with Medusa's head in his hands, and Andromeda, the liberated one, while in front the whale appears surrounded by Pisces and Aquarius. The panorama of Taurus and its neighboring sidereal regions is truly amazing.